Welcome to this week's edition of the Charlie's Cavalry Coaches Show. I'm your host, John Moses. Later in today's show, we'll honor our Student Athlete of the Week and talk to head men's basketball coach Ted Hotaling. But now, we'll talk to head football coach Pete Rosamondo. Coach, coming off a thrilling victory over Kutztown in the second round of the NCAA Division II playoffs, how'd you feel about this game?
Thrilled. I thought it was one of those games that you wish it wasn't so thrilling, but I guess it was really good for the fans and the people that were in the stands. But great to come out with a win.
Well, before this game, I think we all expected a back-and-forth game with a lot of offense. I mean, when you played this game out in your head before Saturday, how did you envision it coming out?
I thought our defense would play a little bit better than they did. They weren't opportunistic. You know, they played okay, but when you watch the film back, you just saw a lot of missed tackles, a lot of opportunities to make plays that we just, for some reason, didn't make. And those are things we really got to get cleaned up this week going down to Winston-Salem.
Well, right from the outset of this game, it was clear that Ryan Oshesky was really locked in, especially with Jason Thompson. Let's talk a little bit about their connection and the rhythm they've developed this season.
Well, I think it has to do with what the defense has given us. Obviously, Ryan has been doing a great job this year, not forcing the ball and taking what the defense gives you. And they were giving us some over-the-top balls, which allowed them to get the ball to Jason down the field. And as you know, when he catches it, he can finish it. That's for sure.
Well, as we'll see in this first highlight clip, we'll really see Ryan take a great opportunity to find Jason Thompson.
Yeah, it's one of those play actions. Josh eats up the safety there in the middle of the field, and it just gives Ryan a lot of blue turf there to get the ball to Jason down the middle. Kept Camille and Mike DeCaro both in the block, and gave us a great protection and get the ball down the field. Jay takes a nice hit there.
With 17 seconds left in the half, Kutztown scored to take the lead 21-20, and it looks like they would take that lead and the momentum into the locker room. What were you thinking when you first got the ball back on offense? Was there a thought in your mind that you would just go out there and kneel it down?
No. I mean, I thought we would try to see what we can get the first couple plays and see if we can get in the field goal range. And I think after the second play, we were in field goal range, so the only option we had was to throw it down the field and see if we could come up with a Hail Mary. So that's what we did.
So, take us through this final play here. What does the offensive line do? Jason Thompson comes up and actually makes a tremendous play. But take us through what goes on this.
Well, I think the most important thing is to give the quarterback time to step up and launch the ball, 50 yards into the end zone. And then you got to have one guy in the middle, that's usually Jason, and one guy in front and one guy behind. So that when Jake jumps up, sometimes he tips it, sometimes he catches it. We tell him to try to catch it. If you can't catch it, try to tip it to one of the guys in front or behind. And you got Josh Mark coming across to clean it up. So that's usually what we do.
So let's actually take a look at this final highlight. Right before the half, just a huge momentum shift right here.
Yeah, we got three receivers down here to the boundary. It's Ruffin, Jason, and Demetrius, and all of them can run. And we wanted to try to get Demetrius behind, as you could see. And if Jay tipped it, it would go to Demetrius behind him. If he felt like he couldn't tip it behind him, he would tip it forward to Chris Ruffin, trailing behind, as you can see right there. But Jay just goes up and grabs it and takes it away from those guys.
Gosh, every time I see that, I'm just impressed with his athletic ability. That's just an incredible catch right there.
Yeah, he's got some God-givens, that's for sure.
Well, going into halftime, what were some of the things that concerned you, and what adjustments did you want to make in the halftime locker room?
Well, the concern obviously was defense and stopping them, and their backup quarterback was having some success throwing the ball, and a lot of intermediate stuff, a lot of underneath stuff, not a lot of deep balls. It gave them the opportunity to move the stick, keep the ball out of our offense's hands. I only think we had one possession we had two possessions in the third quarter, which is certainly not like us. Usually we're zipping through the third quarter pretty good.
Well, in that third quarter, it seemed like Kutztown held the ball for the entire time. You didn't score in the third quarter for the first time this season, and a lot of that had to do with Ryan's fumble in the red zone. But talk a little bit about Kutztown's offense, what they did to you in the third quarter, and did you have any concerns with fatigue in the second half?
We do a pretty good job of rotating guys through, I think, on the defensive side of the ball and getting guys a lot of different opportunities. But, the fatigue I thought would come in the secondary, and I didn't really see any guys, dogging it, as we would say. But, they just did a good job of executing their offense. The quarterback did a great job of stepping up in the pocket, getting away from the pressure of Rob Hill and Tom Hurd, and, just sort of dinking and dunking us to death. And they made a bunch of fourth downs on that one long drive in the third quarter. So, we needed to get off the field. We weren't, like I said before earlier in the show, we were not getting those plays that we needed to stop the drive.
Well, after the fumble in the red zone, Kutztown took over at their 1 yard line, drove it all the way down to your 3 yard line, but your defense was able to come up with the hold there. Talk about what that meant to your defense to keep it at a 1-score game.
Well, it's great momentum for them, to be able to stop them there and not let them get in the end zone. I think they were first and goal on the 9, and we wound up stopping them, holding them to a field goal, which obviously gave them a little bit of confidence. I think, know they can get off the field, and it also gave us offensively a little bit of life there, knowing that we didn't have to make up a touchdown; we just make up that field goal.
Well, on the very next drive, Mike Tuccaro made an absolute play for the ages. Walk us through that play. What does Ryan see on this play and the individual effort that Mike gives us on this?
Well, Mike's running an hour route, just right into the flat, and Ryan's thought if they blitzed that outside linebacker, which they did, give it to Mike in the flat right now, and let him use his skills to beat one of the guys one-on-one in the secondary, and certainly what he does there.
Boy, just love how wide receivers don't give up on the play here. You see Chris Ruffin, Jason Thompson, and Demetrius Washington-Ellison all picking up big blocks that got Mike into the end zone here.
Yeah, it was a tremendous team effort all the way around, and Demetrius comes across and finishes it off for Mike to get in the end zone.
With the lead, your defense really came out flying, forcing a Kutztown 3 and out. Tell us about the play call once you got the ball back. You wanted to, at that point in the game, you're up 3 points. What are you looking to do? With that play call, you come out and you end up throwing a play action.
Well, it's just, it's one of those things that we practice every week, and, we hadn't run it in a while. And I said, there's no better time than right now to try to get the ball down the field to Jay and, try to put this thing away. And, we were able to execute it.
Well, let's walk through this execution right here. Talk about how Ryan really sells this play action fake.
Well, we talk all the time about his fake is the most important part of the play. Chris Higgins, our tight end, stays in there and comes back and makes a tremendous block there on the edge to seal it up. And, Jay's just running a backside post and beats the corner across the field. And that's Ryan's first read, so it makes it easy. And the ride helps Ryan get his eyes on the backside corner and see where he is. A great throw and catch, and obviously Jay just outruns him to the end zone.
With the 10-point lead, your defense really understood that the game was on them. We heard Desmond Anderson say so after the game. Talk about their fourth quarter performance.
Tremendous. 2 picks, 2 consecutive drives in a row, a bunch of sacks, a lot of pressure. We really put that quarterback in a bad situation down the stretch, and we were able to force him to make some bad decisions, which he didn't really make all day. And just put us on top, gave us great field position to go in for that last field goal, which really put us in great position at the end of the game.
Rob Hill hasn't had the most impressive statistical season, but if you've watched this defense closely this year, you know that he's a big part of your game plan. Talk a little bit about his strengths and what he really brings to the defense in tandem with Tom Hurd.
Rob's the most disruptive player on the field. You have to account for him on every play. You have to know where he is. You have to understand what you have to do to block him or read him or any of those things. And he forces issue for the other guy, for Tom and for Raheem and Scott Schultz and Ahmet and those guys. They all feed off Rob. And, I still don't know how he wasn't named first team all conference. He was, again, one of the most unblockable players in our conference.
Well, I think we'll see in this highlight clip just a great example of that. He takes one big step to the outside and spins inside. Just a great move here by Rob.
Well, he's been setting it up all day, and he's just been beating him with speed, and then you see it nice from behind here where this guy's really just oversetting outside. He's afraid Rob's going to beat him up the field. He opens his hips, and Rob spins inside for a big play there. Huge sack.
Desmond Anderson led the Northeast 10 interceptions last season, though I think opponents really wised up to him this year, not really throwing his way a whole lot. Talk about his play this season and the leadership he's brought to your defense.
Oh, he's third on the team in tackles. I think that says a lot. I think he led the team in tackles this weekend. He is a tremendous leader. He's a great leader, both verbally and leading by example. He does a great job in the classroom. He's a great ambassador for our football team, and he's again was named first team all conference, and you could tell the respect that he had from the opposing coaches each week.
So let's take a look at this final highlight clip where Desmond comes up with a really key interception in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, probably one of the biggest plays right here. And, we just got pinned down and punted and decent punt and got us in position. The first play does, undercuts the route and makes a big play there. Almost had two early in the game and missed them. And, it was great to see him get one of these.
Boy, this is just a great read on this, where the quarterback tries to look him off and keep him underneath. But, Des just reads what the quarterback wants to do here.
Yeah, it's just very disciplined on his part. He wants him to throw the short stuff. We'll rally up and tackle and, not give up the big play, in which he does here, and, makes a big play for us.
Well, looking back at this game, what are some things that concern you going into the regional championship against Winston-Salem State?
Oh, just our tackling. We got to tackle. Have to. Against a great team like Winston-Salem with a tremendous tailback and explosive weapons on offense, you have to tackle and make them drive the field. That's the most important thing. You can't give up plays in big chunks. We did a pretty decent job of that at times this week, but we missed way too many tackles. And I think our guys will get after it this week. I think the bye may hurt them a little bit with that. We didn't do a lot of live work, a lot of live tackling, and, we'll change that up this week.
Is there one area you've already keyed on for this Saturday that's going to be really important to who wins?
Well, I think offensively it's protecting the football, making sure we don't give them short fields and keep our defense off the field and just be able to control the tempo of the game a little bit. We can't let them in their home stadium also control the tempo of the game, or else it should be a long afternoon for us. But, if we can hold the ball a little bit, complete passes, make them pay for blitzing, which they do an awful lot. So those are the keys to the game offensively. Defensively, tackle. Just tackle, force them to go the whole field.
Coach, thanks so much for your time, and good luck against Winston-Salem State.
Thanks for having me.
After this break, we'll honor our co-student athletes of the week. This is the Charlie's Cavalry Coaches Show.